What's going on, guys? We're here with Tony. We're going to be talking about enrichment and toys.
So we were talking previously, what's my opinion? What role do toys and enrichment have? And the main objective is to keep a bird that is very active. Parrots are very, very active in their environment, to keep them occupied, to keep them mentally challenged. So the role that toys play and that enrichment play are similar, but yet they're also different. Similar in that a bird can chew this and can chew this Royal Poinciana pod. But the difference is I can't eat this. Now, when I look at a beach almond or an Indian almond or a West Indian almond, it's known by many, many names. It's actually this plant here. It's called Terminalia catapa. So the leaves and the pods serve an important role in the wild. One, the nuts, they can chew, they can break them, keeps them busy for a while, and they provide, and I've just cracked this one open, a source of food. So this meets multiple roles. The leaves contain tannin when they're dry. In fact, on Halmahera in Indonesia, I've seen eclectus come down to eat the dried leaves. They actually eat the leaves for the tannins. The green leaves are eaten by many parrots. In fact, I would say that this is a globally introduced plant that parrots across the globe readily take. They'll eat the leaves, they'll eat them green, dry, and then the pods.
Tony, can you show us what that Indian almond looks like?
Yep. So the Indian almond is, or West Indian or beach almond is just, these are dry. When they're unripe, they're green. As they turn ripe, they turn red, and then as they continue to ripen, they become gray. If you shake them, you can hear the little nut on the inside. So they provide, like I said, enrichment and food. When you look at Royal Poinciana, the outside provides many tannins. Many of the parrots will eat them. In fact, they'll eat them green and they'll eat them dry. And then there are seeds inside this pot. And the seeds also provide food. As I said, that the dried leaves of the almond are eaten by eclectus. Palm seeds are eaten by every parrot species where they're available. So if you look at many of these things, you would say, okay, I would give the almonds to all species. I would give the Royal Poinciana pods to all species. I would give the palm seeds to all species, but size them. So a macaw would get, say, a foxtail, and a conure would get one of the smaller seeds. And then things like Melaleuca, you would give to lorikeets, primarily. And also for Quaker parrots. In Florida, here in Miami Beach, I owned a house, and there were wild Quakers, and they were heavily infected with lice. So what they would do is they would take the seeds and crush them, or the leaves, chew them, and rub them into their feathers, because Melaleuca has many medicinal properties. So does, for example, the dried leaves of the almond. Both are very important in the aquarium trade. They're antibacterial. So this you would give to Quakers, you would give to lorikeets who would eat them and enjoy them. And these seed pods will also be eaten by kikes and pioneers. So there's many enrichment items that suit one species. Many of them cover many species. And the idea is to change, whether you give toys or enrichment, you change them every 3 days. More than 3 days, they become furniture, and then it's not good.
That was my next question. So how do you go about applying the enrichment, and what do you do after you give some and there might be extra?
You could give toys. You could replace toys with enrichment. You could alternate. The idea is to have enough variety so that you can alternate. Many enrichment items can be dry. They don't have to be green. So These, for example, you could keep around. You keep them where there's airflow, because if you keep them in a plastic bag, there's condensation and then there's mold. So you would just keep these in a box, and then you would rotate them.
Every 3 days, you said.
Yeah. You give them a couple pieces every 3 days. You take whatever they've not consumed or have played with, and then you replace it with maybe some toys.
What about the palm seed? So I know there's a lot of clients asking, if I don't want to give my bird the whole branch, can I freeze the palm seed?
You could freeze them. You can leave them dry. And the main thing with palm seeds is don't keep them in a plastic bag. If you're going to keep them fresh, either freeze them or keep them out in the open. Wrap them up in newspaper.
The airflow, you need
it. Yes, very important. Otherwise, they grow mold and they're not as good. And the birds will eat the outside with things like foxtails. The inner seed is hard, so many of the birds wait a few days. You take them out. You don't throw them out. You take them out, you store them, and a couple weeks later, you give them back to the bird. They're dry, and they'll be easier to crack open.
So you don't
want
to
leave
it.
The bird can get into the nut.
You don't want to leave it for so long, otherwise the bird will get, bored of it, and
it becomes furniture.
it won't be a treat. Yeah.
Yes.